Hilton, and I will gladly do
Hold
the
on.
interview.
I've always been a Paris Hilton guy. I don't know what it is.
Me
A lot,
too.
a lot of people are like, "Oh, she's too skinny. Oh, she's this."
You know what? You know what? I give her credit. She's trying to do stuff on her own. She went
Yeah.
out. She's like DJing and stuff.
Yeah.
She's out there just living her life. She's like,
Well,
she never really bothered me.
welcome to the Two Dumb Yinzers. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to episode 294. Mike, we're next week, this day, 1 week. Yeah, I thought this would have been over a long time ago.
Me too.
Look at us, huh? Look at us, like a couple of
who
big kids.
Who would have thought Johnson until it came time to be Paris Johnson?
Until it became time to be teased as Paris Hilton, and all of a sudden he disappears.
Yeah, I know,
Paris
right?
Johnson.
You call me Paris Hilton all you want, man. I'll have her money.
Yeah, man.
I would gladly take her money.
Two Dumb Yinzers, everybody. Mike, we're going to do some Pittsburgh Pirates. We have a lot of football to go over. We just have to touch the Pirates because they are one of the hottest teams in baseball.
You have to. You cannot stop talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And the thing is, I mean, and we could do football first, but there's only so much Pirate stuff. I mean, we really have a lot of football stuff to go over. So, I mean, we could take the football and just run with it through the duration of whatever. So, like I said, I like to get the Pirates knocked out of the way.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I like it. Knock them out the park, boys.
Pittsburgh Pirates, though, they did gain. They gained last night, Mike. They were off. They were at home enjoying, probably taking the loofah showers like Patrick Mahomes. And while they were doing such, they gained ground. They actually gained a half a game. They are now a whole game over the Milwaukee Brewers in the NL Central. Brewers lose to the Tigers 4-2 last night. And that puts the Pirates up one game. So we'll at least be guaranteed to be in first place through the end of today.
Yeah.
Also, a fun one, Mike, I think, is the Cardinals also lost 4-0 to the Giants. The Cardinals are 7 games out of first place. It wouldn't surprise me if this team ends out winning the division just because that's what they do. Yeah. But right now, it's sure fun looking at them. It's 7 games out of first place. 15% of the season knocked out.
I'm loving it. It's about time. Those dirty bastards felt our misery. I don't know how long, for like the longest time, when we were trying to win, when we had Kutch in his prime, Burnett, all those guys, and then it was in the way.
Yeah,
the Cardinals and the Cubbies, and it's nice to see us above them. It's nice to see the Cardinals sucking for a change. I'm loving it.
The crazy thing about that team, like when we faced the Cardinals back then, when we were good 10 years ago, we beat the Reds in a wild card game. We go on to play the Cardinals in the first round. We go up best of 5.
Yeah.
We go up 2-0 on these guys.
Yeah.
So they have to win 3. We have to win just 1 of the last 3. They ended up winning all 3 of them games, and I think they went to the World Series. They might have lost that year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, isn't that the year like our manager decided, you know what, we're not going to put like our power hitting first baseman out there. We're going to put the guy who can play defense but can't hit, and that's the reason we lost, because that guy couldn't hit. Was it like Sanchez or whatever?
Sorry.
I don't recall. I remember the situation being more of the pitchers.
It might have been it was against the Cubbies. It was against the Cubbies I'm thinking of. That was the debacle. We put our defensive guy out there instead of the offensive guy. We couldn't hit.
Remember Clint Barmas?
Yeah, I remember Clint Barmas.
I wonder who he pissed off after he left Pittsburgh. But yeah, I remember that Cardinals, that game 5.
Yeah,
it came down to AJ and Garrett. It was AJ's turn on the rotation, but they went with the young hand, the fireball throwing Garrett Cole, and he ended up losing. Then it ended up being a big thing after that. Before the fact, everyone was cool with it. Then after that, was like, "Oh, you stupid idiot."
Yeah, I even then I contend it was the wrong move, because AJ Burnett was the hot hand. Cole really hadn't done a lot. And then, Cole immediately leaves here and goes wins the World Series. So,
No, Garrett Cole's always had a lot of talent.
He just never, it was never maximized here.
If he would have won
we
that
saw that
game,
with a lot of our pitching. Yeah.
It would have been a lot different. And he could have won that game. As I said, it was a lot of things that went into it. Yeah. If you recall watching that game 5, I just, you know what? Let bygones be bygones. We're back at it. We're red hot. We're 16-7. We still have the second best record in the majors, not even tied. Nobody's even tied us yet. We're still the second best. The Tampa Bay Rays are sitting at 20-3. 20-3 in baseball. I don't even know how that's possible. What we're doing is amazing.
Yeah.
But what these guys are doing, it's just off the charts
It,
because you have
my
a team
thing
doing
is
what
the
we're doing.
first-
And like I said, it's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's freakish. It's unbelievable that somebody's sitting there at 20-3, especially if you're not the Yankees, especially if you're not one of these teams that pay out all this money. 20-3. And we're going to get back into the Tampa Bay Rays in a second here. I just want to go over a couple things before we do so. As I said, the Cardinals and the Brewers did lose yesterday, so we gained ground on both of them by a half a game.
Woo!
We got the Dodgers. The Dodgers are 12-11. They're not playing great baseball, but they're good enough to be 12-11.
Yeah.
They play
They're
today.
not the same team.
We got them at home today at 6:30. They're pitching. Help me with this name, Derpy. Noah Syndergaard.
Snygarder.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
Well,
That was a Met.
well, this dude
at one
here,
point.
Syndrgaard, is 0-3.
Yeah, he was a Met.
He's throwing a 4.91 ERA.
Oof.
And we got on the hill Johan Oviedo, who has a 2.22. He has 25 Ks in 24 innings. For being a Florida guy on a rotation, he has been pretty hot. Tomorrow we'll have Ronzi on the hill, Contreras, and then to finish up the Dodgers, we have a midweek game. It's in the afternoon on draft day.
That game does not matter at all on draft day.
But you know what? It's afternoon, so it works. So they're throwing Mitch Keller, so we might be okay that game. Then after that, guys, I want to talk about this for a second. The next 9 games, guys, we host the Dodgers for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Then we go to Washington to play the Nationals, who's only 7-14, but we go there for 3, and then we go to Tampa Bay. Is going to be the true test. We're going to get the who knows what they'll be by then. They're probably going to be 26-3 by that point. So our next 9, 3 at home against the Dodgers, 3 at Washington, and then 3 at Tampa Bay. Then we come back home to play Toronto, who I'm not even sure what the Blue Jays are. It doesn't even matter at this point. But yeah, you guys want to do a quick prediction on what you think of these next 9 games?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we got 3 against the Dodgers, who's sitting at 12-11. They're a half game out of first place behind Arizona in the NL West. Then you got Washington, who's fallen pretty far behind in the East with a 7-14, and then Tampa Bay. No need for explanation.
Mm-hmm.
So Derby, let it start computing up there. I want to see what you guys think is going to what's going to happen here, because we're coming off a day off, a well-deserved day off. I think these guys needed a break.
Yeah, I'd say 5-4.
You think 5-4?
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's safe. That's a safe pick. I'm gonna go a little bit more than that.
Just because it's the Rays, the last 2 are the Rays, and then you would lose 2 to the Dodgers
and Washington,
which is 5-4.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, Derby. I wish you wouldn't have picked that.
Yeah, I know, right? I was gonna go like 6-3.
Yeah, but now
that was on the low
way.
end. Yeah, Derby. Way to bring the mood down.
Well, I hope they go at least 5-4.
Yeah, that's the safe pick.
But let's see how this Dodger series goes, because, like I said, they haven't been playing the best ball ever. Again, Derby said it's not the same team. They're sitting at 12-11. They just had a pretty good series with the Cubbies, who, you could lump the Cubs, the Brewers, and the Pirates all together and say basically these are, the same kind of team. They're sitting in the same basic spot at this point in the season. So I think we watched this Dodger game, but as far as prediction, I think Derby is pretty close. I was going to say 6-3 until he explained it, and he put it in the sense that you probably lose 1 in the Dodger series. Who knows? We might lose 2. So that's what.
You never know, but we've had a lot of success against the Dodgers.
We have, but it would make sense that we.
But they're the Dodgers, though.
It would make sense that we wouldn't now, because we're actually playing good baseball. It would only totally make sense that we would blow a load against these guys, and they would end up beating us. You know what I mean? That's the Pittsburgh way when it comes to sports. But
I don't know. I'm having a little bit more optimistic, and this is going to be my downfall. I'm getting optimistic about the Pirates.
Yeah.
What happens when I get optimistic about one of these two teams?
The whole system gets flushed down.
Yes,
Flush down the toilet.
I was getting optimistic about the Penguins at one point, and then they started to suck. So you know what, Pirates, it's your now their turn for the kiss of death from Big Sexy here at the Two Dumb Yinzers. I am rooting for the Pirates. I think 6-3 out of your next 9 is a safe bet. That's
I like the 5 and I was starting with 6-3. That's where I was at. That's what I was going to pick until Derpy opens his mouth over there. Now I don't know what the hell.
I think 6-3 is respectable
now I'm
because
thinking 4-5.
Man, I thought I
4.
could be negative.
5-4.
I go. I don't want to, but I have to. I'm gonna go 4-5.
Just to real. Okay.
Because I don't know that, like Derpy said, that would be 1 loss against Washington, 1 loss against the Dodgers, and then 2 against Tampa Bay. You know, what if we muff up one of those other games?
I see. Now you were all high on the Pirates up until this segment, and you're gonna let
because Derpy and his ideas over there.
I'm actually being positive. I'm
I
actually
know.
being realistic with 5 and 4.
He's being realistic.
You're the Debbie Downer here, sir.
I'm being overly optimistic. I'm thinking overly optimistic at 6-3. Now you've just gone down.
I'm going 4-5. Derpy's going 5-4. You're going 6-3.
But whatever happens, fellas, they got to take advantage with these team slumps early on.
They have to. And, it's like we talked about yesterday. And even, I mentioned that when we talked about the Penguins during their season, you have to get these wins now when you can. Because, like I said, like we all said yesterday, 1 win is what the Penguins needed last year. You don't want it to come down to the Pirates where they need 1 win or a series win.
I've always
get it now, man.
I'd rather
win early and lose late.
Yeah.
Just be optimistic, Pirate fans. Be optimistic.
Oh, Derpy, they're beyond optimistic. If you point out a legit critique about this team, they all come attack you. Even like the people who work for them, like their media
not the
department
All-Star week yet.
and their media people, they will come after you, man. If you point out, hey, this isn't looking good. Well, what about these 55 stats? Like, well, okay, that's nice, but we were talking about this right here. They are overly optimistic and very protective of their buckos right now.
Yeah.
162. All I'm gonna say, you can't overhype it.
No, when it comes to the Buccos and Bucco baseball, it's about that game only, Derpy.
Fair,
that's all they focus on, man.
Fair.
There's no big picture. We are a rabid fan base when it comes to everything. Even like in Penguin hockey, Steeler football, it's that game right there. That's the only thing that matters.
Oh yeah.
There's no big picture. It's one game.
It's the World Series game.
Yeah, every game's the World Series. Every game's the Stanley Cup. Every game's the Super Bowl, man.
Derpy brings up that guy that drew Maggie, what's his name? That guy from the
yesterday.
Now this guy, he's been in the minor league for 10 years. They called him up, all right. Mm-hmm. He's played 1,155 games. He played in the minors.
And he got called up.
He got almost 5,000 at bats, 4,494 bats. He's 33 years old. And he just cannot wait. He cannot wait to get that first major league at bat. Talking about dedication.
That's awesome.
Most sane men would have hung themselves by now.
That's just being stubborn. And my God, I'm all for chasing your dreams, but at that point, man,
that's for the love of the game right there.
Yeah,
that's for love of the. I ain't got nothing else going on in my life. I probably can't do anything else in my life.
You know what,
I'm not trying to poop on the guy, but you dedicate your life to one thing. That's kind of what happens. Like, it's like you graduate college, you start one job, and you never leave that job.
Yeah, job.
I mean, you
kind of get like into that, like you're like into it. There's probably like a point where hey, I can stop this, go do something else, and that'd be my life's work. But then it comes to a point like, I guess this is what I'm doing till I no longer can.
I really wish he would have got to like 38 before he would have got the call. That would have been
great. That would have been great. I'm like not trying to poo-poo on the guy. I'm just saying
no, you're poo-pooing.
No, it's kind of like no, because it's like a cool whole like life thing. Like people, like I graduate college, I'm gonna take this job till I can get one in my field. Next thing you know, it's 15 years down the line. And you're like, oh Christ,
I really did what this dude is doing.
So it's kind of like
this guy can make ends meet and he can pay his bills.
Yeah, go do it. Yeah, live your dream. Why not? Keep doing it. Hell yeah. But a lot of minor leaguers, because they get paid peanuts down there.
Oh yeah, right.
It's atrocious what they get paid. And for him to be able to stick it out, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I would have given up a long time ago. I'm like, I'm going to go make more money somewhere else.
I think that it's time.
It's time. It's Tuesday.
Madam, I request that you immediately send me pictures detailing your beautiful bosom in support of the national holiday known as Titty Tuesday.
Titty
Tuesday.
Titty Tuesday story. I was thinking of this a little bit earlier. Do you guys remember the movie Harold and Kumar? I believe it was the second one. Maybe it was the first. I don't know. With Tits Hemingway. She was in that brothel house, and I think she ended up shooting.
That was the first one.
Doogie Howser.
Yeah, she showed Dukes.
And they said to her, they go, Tits Hemingway, how'd you get that name? And she was like, Hemingway's my favorite author.
Yeah.
He had these monster boobs.
Derby,
go. I have to get a permission slip from your mother to have this conversation.
No, you're you're good. You're good.
One more thing.
Yeah, that's what you say, young man.
Yeah. Another thing, real quick, before we switch over to football. I don't know if anybody caught this. Anybody that's into wrestling, I caught wrestling briefly last night. There was a big announcement, so I had to tune in. Triple H comes out, and he was saying that there's a big announcement. He came out and went on and on about Roman Reigns, been a champion for almost 1,000 days, blah, 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 blah. I guess the point of the whole thing was they, since they're doing this draft and they're breaking everybody up again.
What?
Derpy's mom just she just gave you the okay on the message board, so I just want to let you know, Derpy, we have permission. We have permission to have this conversation with you. But the thing that I did, what happened was Triple H came out and he said,
shout out to Mama Derpy there.
That since they're breaking it up and they're doing the new draft, wherever Roman Reigns goes, he's taking that belt with him. Yes. And the other brand is going to have this brand new belt, brand new championship. And they had it out and it was real nice and everything. So that was the big news. If people are into wrestling, I did just want to throw that out because I caught that last night.
I caught the belt. I like the new belt. Also at that show too, CM Punk was backstage.
Yeah, I heard. I didn't.
Yeah, he's under contract with AEW. There's been a lot of bad blood between him and WWE, him and Hunter, but apparently they spoke, and he was there for a little bit until he was asked to leave because he's still under contract somewhere else. So they got him out of there, but he was there for a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of weird. If you're into wrestling, there's a lot of drama going on.
I watched the Liv Morgan match and then seeing what Triple H had to say, and then that was it for me. But
you know what? Liv Morgan is a damn good wrestler.
She is a damn good wrestler.
Oh, she is. Like, she's not just a pretty face. Like a lot of like those women in that division, there's not many bad wrestlers.
No. Everybody, it's football time. We got 2 days. We're 2 days. Can you believe it? 2 days from the NFL draft. Here it is on Tuesday. NFL draft starts on Thursday. A lot of stuff going on. And you know what? Before we even get into the draft, I mean, we have things to talk about. What about Aaron Rodgers?
Oh boy,
the Jets are gonna jet.
You know what? I think
I like the trade. It was a good trade.
It was a good trade. I like what the Jets have going on. They have some things going on. I mean, and they also have this draft to address some things. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Jets do. Nonetheless, I think it's going to be more interesting just to see what the AFC East does in general, because you have this hungry Buffalo team. That's I mean, they're chomping at the bit to get to the big game. And you know what? I don't think they're that far off. You have Miami who played a great 8 games to start last year. You started having 2 injuries, and that happened. You add Aaron Rodgers to the mix with the Jets, and then New England's always kind of New England. They're going to be the dark horse in that division, but you can't really ever count them out. You gotta like the AFC East. I think it's going to be highly competitive, and it's about time they start beating the crap out of each other in that division. So because that wasn't the case when New England was winning all the time. They had nobody to beat the crap out of them. They went and they dominated that division for 20 freaking years. Let them beat the crap out of each other for a while.
Yes, please do beat the crap out of each other. But no, I like this trade for the Jets. Like we kept saying, all they really need is a quarterback.
Yeah.
Now they got one.
Yeah.
Now what does Aaron Rodgers still have left in the tank?
Him.
Yeah, they got to protect him. Their line is not bad. Like if Mekhi Becton, like he's gotten himself in. He dropped a lot of weight. He was almost 400 pounds. He's down in like the 350 range, I think. He looks like a brand new human being. If he can get it together, he still could be a dominant left tackle in this league. The line is not bad. They have a good running game. God, they add Alan Lazard to already with Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, was offensive rookie of the year last year. And that defense is still damn good. and they still have the 15th pick overall in the draft.
I don't think that they're going to
They
jet
dropped
out
2 spots in the
entirely.
draft.
I think
Oh,
they're
they
13.
13.
I think they'll
15,
jet, but I don't
Packers
think they'll
went to
jet
13.
out.
Yeah, Packers went to 13. Yeah, the Jets still have the 15th overall pick in the draft. They can add a Jordan Addison. They can add a Quentin Johnson to that receiving core to
That
give
would
him
be
another
scary.
weapon. Yeah, so or
Personally, I'd rather go defense though with
or
them.
you could go defense, or you can go Bijan Robinson in the first round because you never know if Breece Hall's going to come back 100%
That's
after
true.
that knee injury. So there's a lot of options there at 15 to make that offense even better.
I want to welcome Derpy. I want to welcome P. Morton to the show. P's on the board. He says this morning, it was mind-boggling to me the amount of grown men that would watch wrestling on the weekend instead of chasing tail when I was in the military. Boy, isn't that the truth?
Well, that's kind of how you stay out of trouble.
There's literally no excuse why grown men will watch grown men wrestle other grown men in their underwear. I don't get it. I don't understand this, but you know what? It's a thing, and that stadium, that arena packs up every week, 2-3 times a week. It is mind-blowing, and I'm glad to see you back, P. Glad to have you back on the board, brother.
Yeah.
But yes, Joe
Wrestling
Namath,
chasing tail, that's a toss-up right there.
Joe Namath did say Aaron could have number 12, but Aaron Rodgers chose number 8. He's going to be wearing number 8 this year.
Smart move.
And I think that like I said, I'm going to be very interested to watch the Jets. I was interested to watch the Jets last year, and I think they'll jet eventually, but not as soon as they did this year. They're not going to falter after 6-7 weeks as they did last year.
Yeah.
The other big story out of New York with this, Mike, who's the other quarterback, the one that's going to give the veteran, they're going to make their life a living hell?
Zach Wilson, baby.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Let's go.
Yeah,
Zach Wilson's good. Yeah, he's going to go after Aaron Rodgers' estranged mom.
I think he's going after his mom. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So there you have it.
I would love it.
Jets, Jets. Aaron Rodgers. It's gonna be a different team. There's no two ways about that. There's no two ways. It's gonna be a better team. And I wouldn't be surprised with a second round playoff appearance.
My thing is sorry.
No, go ahead.
My thing is with this is the Jets will jet just like the Mets will Met.
Yeah, that's what they do. And no matter how much money the Mets put into that damn team, that Mets team always stinks. So, I don't get it.
I don't know. I think, God, they're going to have to, they have to at least make it to the championship game this year to justify this trade. And that's going to be hard because you have to go through Kansas City, Buffalo, Miami, if Tua comes back healthy, and Cincinnati. And you don't know who else is going to be on the uprise. Is Jacksonville going to take that next step? Is Pittsburgh going to take a step? Is Cleveland going to take a step? What's going to happen in Baltimore? Is Lamar going to come back happy and healthy? So there's a lot of good quarterbacks and some surprise teams in the East or AFC North, or excuse me, AFC, that they're going to have to contend with. It's not a slam dunk for this team.
Hey, they're not going to contend with the Steelers because we re-signed Miles Boykin, man.
Yes, we did. Key special teams, baby.
We got Miles Boykin back. Special.
As soon as we got off the air, I saw that. I was like, "Oh, derpy."
Why does this always happen to us? Why does this? Maybe we should move the time period, right?
No,
noon to 1.
I can't do that.
You
got to watch my kid for me, derpy. You got to come be a babysitter.
And just adding Rodgers to that team, guys. I just look at the quarterbacks in that division alone now. It's Allen, Rodgers, Tua, and then Mac Jones. Mac Jones being Mac
Jones had a pretty good rookie year.
Overrated.
Yeah,
I mean, he's overrated. He had a good rookie year, then regressed this year. But we'll see.
I'm not scared of Mac Jones at all. To be honest,
not at all. Wouldn't they be the team that moves up into the top 5
and
draft one of these quarterbacks? That would blow my mind.
The same with the Packers too.
Well,
because what did the Packers do?
They're happy with Jordan Love, guys.
Yeah,
they love Jordan Love.
They love Jordan Love, but what are the Niners? Niners don't have any first round picks because they traded 3 of them.
Well, they got 13 quarterbacks. They're going to be okay. Well, Jimmy G left.
They got Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy said he might not even be ready to play this year.
Oh,
because that UCL tear that he has is not like the Tommy John type surgery. So he might not be back at all. That might be a year-long type thing. The only other quarterback they have on roster is Sam Darnold. Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, and Brock Purdy. Woo! When Mr. Irrelevant is your best
I guess that
quarterback,
confirms Kenny Pickett was better than Purdy then.
Want to take a look at some? You guys want to take a look at
Purdy had better numbers.
Why do you always got to do this? I mean,
no, he brought up
something
Kenny.
fun, and then you got to start
Let's go do
shitting on
something
Kenny.
fun.
I mean,
I was not shitting on Kenny.
You shit on Kenny every chance you get.
Kenny,
I could be
Kenny
going on
Pickett
about
is my
Penn State
quarterback
every day on this damn show, but no,
Derby brought up Kenny.
I'm nice
Pickett.
about those child molesting freaks over there, but you can't.
Don't talk about Ohio State that way.
I'm not
Derby's the one who brought up Kenny. I haven't said anything bad about Kenny.
Check out this. The Detroit Lions now. The Lions, you want to talk about a good situation. The Detroit Lions, they have 2 first-round picks, 6 and 18, 2 second-round picks, 48 and 55.
Oh, jeez.
A third-round pick at 81, 2 fifth rounds, 152, 159, and 2 sixth rounds, 183, 194.
And they'll probably miss on every single one of them.
No, this is a whole new regime up there, man.
Well, here's the thing about this: they have to replace the 6 guys that they just can last week.
Well,
only filling roster spots with their draft.
Only one of them had potential. Only one was a good player. Of course, he hasn't played a whole lot because he was hurt.
If you're looking at a team like the Jets, look at a team like the Lions, and I keep saying this, and people keep brushing it under the rug. You can't ignore what they have going on, what they did last year in this draft. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth. And like I said, the first 4 picks are in the first, 6, 18, 48, and 55.
Yeah. Because I like right now, I'll just throw up a mock draft real quick, simulator up. Right. Like in this scenario right now, available to them would be Witherspoon, the cornerback out of Wisconsin, Skronsky, the tackle, JSN, the receiver from Ohio State, Dalton Kincaid, the number 1 tight end, Christian Gonzalez, the number 2 corner, Nolan Smith, an edge rusher, Clancy, the number 14 overall prospect. So at the 6th overall pick, they're going to hit a home run no matter who they take.
They're going to hit it at 6, they're going to hit it at 18, and they're probably going to hit it at 48. Yeah,
it's ridiculous that this team is set up for success, and with that whack job of a coach,
I love him.
I love him. He's
things.
not the guy that I would want to work for or play for, but my God, he makes me want to go be the best person I can be from a distance. And imagine like if that's the kind of coach that you want and need to motivate you to be the best that you are, if they can identify those type of players and get them with that talent and at those spots, my God, this team can do a lot.
You watch out for them. I mean, they just missed the playoffs last year. They finished, I think, roughly right where we did.
Yeah, they started off. They started off bad, then they finished strong like we did.
Yeah.
Like, whew.
Yes, this year's going to be interesting all the way through this draft. I don't know what to expect. I think that there's going to be a couple surprises. We have a lot going on. There's a lot, like I said, the Lions, the Jets are trying to put something together. So I mean, this is starting Thursday all the way through the end of this season. I think that it's going to be interesting football. P on the board is a little bit more pessimistic about the Detroit Lions. He said the Lions are going to mess it up. The Lions are the AFC gremlins of the NFL teams.
I agree.
Oh,
but watch these Lions, guys. I think the tide's going to turn this year. I believe they'll be in the playoffs, and they might even win a game or two. I wouldn't be surprised.
AFC
and I think the NFC.
Can't wait to see them on Thanksgiving again.
The same thing about listen, the AFC is packed. Now that you bring Aaron Rodgers over, you make the Jets a competitive team. Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati. And then the NFC, that they're trying to sprout a team, and I think that Philadelphia, of course, is the front runner. But besides for Philadelphia, I mean, San Francisco could possibly have a quarterback situation there. Detroit, that they might just be good enough to make some noise in the playoffs this year.
I think they can. It's all going to come down just about like for every team. It's going to come down to quarterback play, and like who do they have? Jared Goff. If Yeah, he is what he is
Yeah.
at this point in his career. He's never going to live up to the potential of the number one overall pick, but you can get something out of him. He didn't do bad last year. 29 touchdowns, 7 picks, completed 65%
No.
of his passes.
On a
But he
Detroit team?
yeah, but he just never instills that huge confidence in you
Right.
that like, hey, we got Jared Goff, we're set. It's not like, oh man, we got Brady, oh, we got Ben, we got Mahomes. It's like, hey, we got Jared Goff. So that's why I'm saying, like, maybe they ride with him, or do they package a couple of their picks and move up to get one of these young quarterbacks if they think they can be the one that can get them over the hump? But they might just build around Goff, and that might be the way to go. But I'm looking for them to make a move.
I tell you what, PP says the Jets may be worth watching for the first time in forever. I agree.
They are.
Unless you were
Dumb
alive
guess it.
and present for the 69 Super Bowl
Yeah.
3, which I sure wasn't. But you know what? The Jets and Lions Super Bowl might not be that much of a laugher anymore. I mean, this is something that you can never say in the history of ever.
I would love to see. I would actually kind of like to see that. You would have Aaron Rodgers facing off against the NFC North one more time.
Yeah.
Guys, you want? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I think that would just be like a fitting end to be like, that would be his career. Like if he retires after this year, like it would be perfect if it's against an NFC North team. Excuse me.
I got something interesting here. We're going to talk about Steeler opposing quarterbacks.
I saw this.
You see this?
Oh no! What is this? What is
well,
this?
It's not as bad as it sounds, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to exclude the AFC North because we know what we got going on there. So this is the opposing quarterbacks that we're going to be facing.
Oh yeah, they don't have Pickett in there, right?
I'm going to be talking about the home teams first, the teams we play at home.
And these are the teams we were playing against, Derby. Teams we're playing against.
Okay.
Arizona, we play the Cardinals, which may or may not be Kyler Murray at the time. So let's just call it.
Should have played baseball.
So let's just call it what it is. Let's call it Kyler Murray. Green Bay, we're going to be playing Jordan Love.
Woo!
Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence.
Ooh, that's gonna be a tough one.
That's gonna be a tough one.
New England, Mac Jones.
3-1 start.
San Francisco, maybe Brock Purdy. Who knows?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be Darnold.
Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill.
He's always tough.
And then the away games: Las Vegas, Jimmy G. The Rams, Matt Stafford. Seattle, Geno Smith.
Oof, Geno keeps playing the way he did.
There.
Those away games are looking tougher.
Geno's going to be tough.
Indianapolis, question mark. Could be Will Levis. Could be who knows.
Yeah.
In Houston, question mark. So those are the 11 quarterbacks that we'll be facing besides the guys from our division. We know our division: Watson, Burrow, and whatever Baltimore.
Maybe Lamar.
Whatever Baltimore could come up with. But
Lamar, sit this year out, buddy. Take one for the
Lamar. Go to the Colts. Lamar, go to the Colts.
Yeah, go to the Colts. Go somewhere else. Convince someone to trade for you, please.
So you got in the first 6 games, which are that I mentioned, were all the home games: Arizona, Green Bay, Jacksonville, New England, San Francisco, and Tennessee. And then the away games are Houston, Indianapolis, Las Vegas, the Rams, and Seattle. I don't think that this sounds all too hard. I really don't. I think that you could take advantage. I mean, where were you at on you were keeping track, Derpy? What kind of record did you come up with?
I stopped after 5-2.
5-2. And I think
week 7. So I think
I think that's very possible. I think that we're going to be a much improved team from last year. And Kyler Murray, you don't know if he's going to be playing video games and he's going to be ready. You don't know. Jordan Love is going to be in his first season starting. Trevor Lawrence is still young. Mac Jones is, he's Mac Jones. You don't know what you're going to get out in San Francisco. And Ryan Tannehill, quite frankly, I've never been afraid of Ryan Tannehill. The away
maybe
games,
9-2.
The Raiders with Jimmy G. What's the Raiders look like this year, Mike?
They still have a tough team. They still, they have a contract issue with their all-pro running back, Josh Jacobs. So that's going to be there. But they do still have Devontae Adams. And if we get this because last year we got them when they were like that whole team was imploding. So it all depends on like when we get this Raiders team.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the secondary play as well as they did last year. I mean, every big receiver that we worried about during the season, we ended up handling it with the
somehow.
exception of the guy from
Except for
Philadelphia.
AJ Brown, yeah.
Besides Adam.
Which nobody was able
Well,
to handle.
AJ Brown and Stephon Diggs, those two are otherworldly.
Did Diggs really even hurt us? I don't.
In that Buffalo game?
Yeah.
Or it might have been the other receiver that torched us, because I know they put up some numbers on us.
Matt Stafford, I'm not afraid of. I think the Rams is, they're finally shedding.
Too.
They're shedding players from that championship team still. And then Geno Smith, it just depends on, I think Geno Smith is good. I think Seattle's going to be good, but it's going to be a Pittsburgh Steelers team that I think is much improved. And, hopefully we should be able to beat that team. I think it's going to be a good year. They're still saying 8.5 is the
8-3, 7-4, maybe out of those.
They're saying 8.5 is the over under. I think that it's going to be over. I don't think we're going to lose more games than we lost last year. But there you have it. There's that's what we're facing, guys. Nothing amazing. We're not no
but
Patrick Mahomes, no.
Yeah, but like what
Josh Allen.
3 years ago we said Geno Smith, we would have laughed.
Well,
Now it's like
okay.
Now it's like Geno Smith. Okay, now he's last year and the year before. He's improving.
He's finally found his
No, what happens like if we get one of these rookie quarterbacks that's having like a Ben Roethlisberger type rookie year, we're like, oh shit, this kid's making plays. So right now on paper, I like where we're sitting against the
money that we're putting on this
playing.
defense. Ultimately, I think that we should, we should be able to handle our own.
Yeah, this defense should be able to handle every single quarterback in the league. I'm sorry, they should. For like you said, man, the amount of money that we are paying them. Of course, we're kind of underpaid in the corner area, which I think is more important than the edge rushers and D linemen. But it's just me in modern football. But the amount of money we're putting there, we should be able to stop any quarterback out there.
I agree. I agree. Or we should definitely be in the game. Like I said, I just can't imagine us losing more games than we lost last year, and it ended up being not that bad of a season with a 9.
Mike Tomlin has never, he's never had a losing record, so it is safe to bet the over.
Right.
And the talent that we have on this team, and if everyone produces the way we think, and they make that jump that we all hope, it should be a pretty good year for us.
I agree, Mike. They had the big conference yesterday with Mike Tomlin, with Omar Khan. A lot of talk about that.
They're going to pull something wild.
You know what? I'm going to tell you why they're not here in a second. 32. That's all the talk was of yesterday's conference. The unique pick to us is 32. Mike Tomlin calls it. Also, Omar Khan says by this Thursday, they will have contacted 31 teams regarding trades.
Yeah.
I think that this is all smoke and mirrors.
You could
be honest.
Right
I think that like they legit are calling all 31 teams. And I think all
I
31 teams, like every team calls everyone gauging interest. Because you want to know before you get there.
They said
I kind of want more picks, to be honest, if we have that 32.
Well, apparently we have connections with some teams in the top 10. The Bears being one at 9, the Titans being one at 11. As I said, whether they make that big move or not, I don't know. Here's the thing. Your franchise tackle is way more important than Jalen Carter. How much you and I and Mike would love to have Jalen Carter wreaking havoc. This is what we said we couldn't do. We couldn't go after that shiny car because we have needs. We have bad needs. We have to have a left tackle who's going to be solid in that position for years to come. And here's another thing. That cornerback pick now, guys, Mike, you've mentioned a couple of the guys, Witherspoon, Joey Porter Jr. I was reminded how deep this cornerback class is.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, who is it? Emmanuel Forbes, Cam Smith, Stevenson, Darius Rush, Corey Trice.
I kind of like
Kylie Ringo, DJ Turner, Riley Moss, Clark Phillips III. So I don't think that we're going to go after corner at the first. I think we're going to take our first pick. We're going to get that franchise tackle. We will deal whatever with that 32 pick. I don't know what we're going to do, but I think we get that cornerback later just because it's so deep.
It's so deep. Because if you want to, like,
I don't think you're going to get burnt with that pick.
No, because if you want an inside corner, like a slot corner, there's going to be guys there at 49. If you want an outside corner, that might take a year or two to develop. You can get one of those guys at 49. Now my thinking is, if they trade up, it's going to be 17 and 49 trade up.
Yeah.
then field the calls for 32, trade back down in round 2 and get more picks.
That's
Yeah.
very possible.
You're going to lose one of your second round picks, but you can trade down and maybe pick up a third or a fourth.
Lions could be one. Jets could be one.
Yeah. So there's a lot of excitement
One
going
thing
around.
you could be sure of in this unsure draft is, you know what? This Steelers team probably isn't going to draft the way they have in the past.
No,
You've seen a lot change, since the Kevin Colbert switch over.
Uh-huh.
So the one thing that I'm expecting is the unexpected in this draft. But my prediction, guys, is we get that tackle that we want. We get him as early as we can. Mess around with some other picks, but we're not going to go after that cornerback until a little bit later, just because because you can.
Yeah.
And let's just say next year we want to go after a franchise corner. We'll do it next year. Why not? We have Patrick Peterson on the line till for 2 seasons. You got this young kid. Maybe go get the opposite corner of who knows. So
who knows what they're going to do? Yeah.
Who knows what they're going to do? It's going to be very interesting to see what Omar Khan and the company does.
I would keep There's 2 names that I would keep an eye out for if they do this, though.
Who's that?
Brees in Washington.
Brian Brees and who's
Darnell Washington.
Oh, yeah.
I know. There's just things.
Yeah.
They could pull a wild card.
If we didn't re-sign Gentry, I'm all for it. But we re-signed Gentry. We have.
Yeah.
No, we Darnell Washington, he's that shiny toy. We don't need that shiny toy.
Yeah, this isn't the
I know,
year.
I'm just saying.
I know. If
like
they
that.
get him and if they utilize him and Freiermuth effectively in a 2 tight end set, the way New England would always use 2 tight ends, I would love it. Dude's
I'm just saying, keep an eye out.
I know. He's
crazy
big
like
on he's big on the Yinzer radar because he had that great combine. But
I tell you what, talking about tight ends.
I do think Tomlin wants a Clemson guy, though.
Are you happy with this receiving core, guys? Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Allen Robinson, Calvin Austin III, and Miles Boykin. Do those 5 guys, are you confident in those 5 guys moving forward? I think that maybe, just maybe, something crazy might happen in the draft, receiver-wise. But what do you think about these 5? I mean, are these 5 good enough for you? Can we move forward into the season and be happy with these 5 receivers?
I would be okay with it. There's some people here. I'm going to throw out a couple names that later in the draft I would take a look at. Let's go.
Mingo.
Yeah, Jonathan Mingo. He is on everyone's draft.
I want Mingo and
Michigan
Ringo.
State.
Jonathan Mingo, he's 6'1", 6'2", 220, ran a 4.4, big body receiver. He's rising up a lot of teams' draft boards. He's being talked about. Reed who? I need
Michigan State. Michigan State. From Michigan State.
Jaden Reed.
He may be.
And then 5'11", $187.
Your guy, Parker Washington, maybe.
Parker Washington, yeah, he's a slot guy. His production went down last year. They didn't target him a lot. I think he was injured a little bit. Still a good player. I think if he would have come back next year, he would have been a second round pick. I'm also looking at
other guy though.
I'm looking at A.T. Perry too. He's another big bodied receiver, 6'3", 200. Yeah, I would like him, another big bodied receiver.
I kind of like Tucker from Cincinnati.
Tucker.
Trey Tucker.
Was going through all my draft stuff, and
what do you guys think?
Trey Tucker.
What do you think, Derpy? While he's looking that up, what do you think about Mike Tomlin's comment yesterday, where he says we have no glaring holes that we need on this team? Was that taken the wrong way? Was it maybe misworded, or do you think that they feel that they really have no glaring holes? I mean, I obviously think that we do. I think that this tackle is very important.
I think he's trying to,
again, smoke screen.
Maybe, yeah. Just that
was one thing I kind of blew over
it,
because most people did blow over this, but it was something that I did want to bring up that
Dan Moore, he was a serviceable left tackle. We see what he can do against big names at left tackle. He can shut him down with those no name guys that give him problems, but you can survive another year with him. D-line, they plugged holes. You don't want to, but it's if you can't get the guy that you want at left tackle, say we somehow miss out on the top 3 left tackles. Okay, you can get someone at right, move Chooks over at left, and you automatically upgrade your left tackle position. So I think they're comfortable with the tackles they have, but if they don't get one of the three left tackles, look for them to get someone to go to right, Chooks over to left. So that's what maybe he's referencing. Like we have position flexibility where we can move people around to plug holes.
Yeah, and Khan also stated in this meeting yesterday, or this press conference, I'm sorry, he believes that there's great depth at cornerback, defensive line, and offensive linebackers in this draft. I think we're going to draft well. I really do. I think we're going to get everything that we need. I think there's a little bit of that smoke screening going along. You're trying not to let other teams know what you're going to do and vice versa. So very exciting. Mike, I do have this list here that Darby sent me. Let's go over the second round
could be a guy too.
Draft picks of the last 10 years. We're at that time of the show.
Tyler Scott, that's who it was, not mine, but Tyler Scott.
Brian Reynolds just signed a deal.
Did he?
Yeah.
There you go, everybody.
Yeah,
he's going to slump and he's not going to be good till August.
Deal runs through 2030, club option for 31, no opt-out year.
That's
wow.
It's so hard to think that far ahead as far as sports. I hate guys with 10-year friggin' deals. Jeez, oh man. Anyway, Derpy, is there any way you could send me over? Do you the list you sent me for the second and third rounds the other day?
Yeah, hold on. I got you.
Do you have a copy of the first round anywhere that you could shoot over to me? I don't need it today. If you could dig that up or find it at any point over the next 24 hours, that'd be fantastic. If not, that's fine. But I want to go over this list right here. This is the second round draft picks of the last 10 drafts of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here we go. Starting in 2013, guys. Le'Veon Bell.
Home run.
Yeah.
Home run. 2013 second round pick.
He came in at 240. Realized, no, with this offensive line, I can't play like this. So he cuts some weight down to 220. Totally changes his running style. Totally changes the way running backs are seen by being more patient at the line and then hitting your holes. He made that offensive line. He made Alejandro Villanueva. He made Ramon Foster. He made those guys into players. Without Le'Veon Bell willing to create his own holes and be patient, this line would have been a travesty. This guy changed the way that those players were looked at and the way running backs play. Look who came after him. Zeke Elliott became a more patient runner. Saquon Barkley took what Lev Bell did and took it to the next level in being patient and shifty in the hole and still being able to run with speed and power. It was a home run hit.
I think everybody agrees that was a home run. 2014, a second round pick, Stephon Tuitt.
I thought it was my mom.
Home run.
He didn't win a
Home run
Super
hit.
Bowl.
Home
What
run
do you think
hit.
about Stephon Tuitt, Derpy? 2014 second round pick.
Stephon Tuitt.
I wish we would have kept Hargrave, but Tuitt, he was still pretty good.
Those are two pretty good back-to-back picks. You know what I mean?
Tuitt was getting 8, 9, 10 sacks a season.
Yeah.
And unfortunately his brother died. And my God, I probably would have done the same thing too. I'm not coming to work. F you guys.
2015, Senquez Golson.
BUST, bust.
2016,
Always hurt.
Sean Davis.
Oh, poor kid. I felt bad for it. He had a pretty good rookie.
These are second round picks.
Second round picks. That's why.
Then they lined Sean Davis up. We're gonna have him cover Gronk.
Yeah.
Who he was in his hip pocket all game long, but Gronk just towered over him and just had to palm the ball. And then everyone wanted to talk shit on Sean Davis. I thought he balled out that game, but I think that game ruined him and ruined his career.
2017 second round pick, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Ooh.
See, I don't think he was a bust, and I don't think he wasn't a bust.
He wasn't a homer. He was average.
He was average. He was good opposite side Antonio Brown.
Yeah, he made some good plays, but my God, he helped fumble away 3 playoff seasons. To be fair, but then he goes on, flies high and borrowed wings, and got himself a Super Bowl ring. So good for him.
Yeah, he jumped on the bandwagon train.
What are you? I would. Who's
not I? I would be at the Ben Roethlisberger. I would stay thick and thin, win or lose. But that's just me.
I'm
playing for money and I'm playing for championships. I'll go wherever.
There you go.
Get me the most.
There you go.
That's why
he is in New England now. 2018, the second round pick was James Washington.
James Washington.
Bust. Yeah.
A lot of potential. Just like he couldn't get it done with Ben for some reason. I don't
know.
understand. When any other quarterback was in there, my guy could play. But when
really
Ben got
I
him
think
in
it
there,
was
he
the
couldn't
way
play.
we used him, though.
Run a route, catch a ball.
Yeah.
He went to Dallas. Nothing really formulated there.
He got hurt in Dallas.
He's never done anything.
just
Though.
think
And
it
that's
was
the
the way
point.
we
The point
used
is,
him, though.
hurt didn't produce everything. Just didn't. Nothing worked out for
he
this
would
guy.
make those good combat catches, but then he would just disappear for games on end.
2019, the second round pick was traded to Denver.
So far in the past couple of years, that has been our best second round pick.
Yeah.
Just not take anyone. Don't let Colbert anywhere near that second round.
2020, the year of COVID, Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool was our second round pick.
BUST, bust, but it turned
Thank you
into
for 32, Chicago.
Thank you, Chicago. He turned into 32nd overall pick for this year.
Yeah.
And so it's a wait and see game to see.
We still don't know how good.
We still don't know how good Chase Claypool is going to turn
out. In 21, Pat Freiermuth. I think we filled a huge hole with Pat Freiermuth. Because if we got to figure before,
we really don't know how he's gonna, turn out either.
No, he's gonna do awesome. Listen, I'm gonna tell you why. Shush, everybody.
He has the most catches through.
He has, he's tied with Ernest Biner, I think, for the most catches for a tight end in his first 2 seasons for the top of all time. Nobody's done better.
At least going forward.
And 2, and there's no reason, no signs that those are going to change because things should be getting better for the tight end in theory with the way that we're setting up the team. But where was I going? Oh, so you got to figure before Freiermuth, Jesse James was the guy.
He caught the damn ball.
Jesse James was interesting because he wasn't anything great. He didn't make any great plays. Pat Freiermuth is head and shoulders better than Jesse James. Jesse James kind of fit that mold of the tall white tight end. Caught the ball, turned around, got tackled. I've seen Pat Freiermuth make plays in his first 2 seasons that the tight ends haven't made in this team for years. Pat Freiermuth is the real deal. He fills that whole tight end. We are not going to have tight end problems for years because of it.
I would rather have had Creed Humphreys, best center in football right now, over Pat Freiermuth. I offensive line, you win and lose in the trenches. I think,
but you need your skills too.
You do. But paired with Najee, if you would have taken that Creed Humphreys, I think
right. Najee, Pat Freiermuth, that is a sexy.
That is a sexy one. Whereas Najee and Creed Humphreys is not as sexy, but it's going to get the job done. And
finally, the second round pick last year, George Pickens. To this point, it seems like probably
still good.
Le'Veon Bell, the best one yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, right now he's in a battle with because Le'Veon's clear number 1. Then I'm going to go Stephon to it. Then after that, maybe it's got to be Juju, and then Pickens. So Pickens, he has, he can eventually be that best second round pick out of this 10-year span.
Yeah, I agree.
He's going to put up some crazy numbers because Lev Bell was the best running back in football for a long stretch. So Pickens is going to have to be at least a top 5 receiver for a long stretch. He has the ability. Our quarterback, we hope, has the ability. And, it all comes down to how's that line going to play? Everyone else going to play around them to get those two to be that big combination, the way Ben and AB were to get George up there to be the best pick in the last 10 years in the second round.
Mike, I was going to have you, and I think I'm still going to have you.
We got time?
We got time. You said that you wanted to talk about
my best case scenario.
Your best case scenario for the draft for the Steelers.
So this is without trade up or trade down anywhere. Yeah. This is with every single pick staying the same. I had this mock draft as it's fooling around. Let me do this mock draft, and this fell. And
I
kind of like it. First, cornerback Deontay Banks out of Maryland. Second round pick, Anton Harrison, tackle,
Mike,
Oklahoma. Yes.
I'm loving it so far.
Second round pick 49, linebacker Jack Campbell. So there's 3 needs ticked off right away.
I don't know if Campbell will be there, but hey,
this is the way it fell in the mock draft I did.
I'm loving it so far though.
Third round pick, defensive lineman Siaka Ika.
I don't know if he'll be there either.
I don't know if he'll be there either, but my God, if he is there, that's going to be great.
It's best case scenario. I mean, that's
So out of the
Yeah.
top three rounds, you get 4. You tick off 4 needs. Now I'm like, all right, I was feeling froggy. I'm gonna go with Isaiah McGuire. Yeah, big-bodied edge rusher out of Missouri. He had like an 18 to 19% win rate on his pass rushing, according to PFF. Looking pretty good. Now we have no 5th, no 6th, so we get to the 7th round. You know, they said we're not going to take a quarterback. That's obviously in the top 3 rounds. Now you want to take a developmental quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson out of UCLA.
Forgot about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's underrated.
Very underrated. He would be what he would be. He would be a nice number 2 to have, to where if Kenny would go down after Mitch moves on after this year, okay, we got a guy.
I think and here's the thing, it's 7. I guess it really doesn't matter, but I think that you got to really check the character of these people as well. This is the team that we just beat in the bowl game, Pitt, and there were some issues with this cat, and I don't remember what it was, but there was definitely some late penalties in the game where he lost his cool and had and lost the chance for the UCLA Bruins. And so you might want to look into him. But again, it's 7. You mean, you never here know. And gone by the end of camp. So
don't we have 2?
One more, last one. Another edge rusher, Lonnie Phelps out of Kansas. He's a shorter edge rusher. He kind of like built like a James Harrison type, not as no one's built like that monster, but he's like a smaller guy, like I think he was like 6'2", 242, and just have another guy out there. And if he doesn't work as an edge, you never know, he might develop into might be a special teams contributor right away. So that 7th round pick was try for a backup quarterback for the long term, and try for an edge, developmental edge, and right away special teams player. And so this right here to me would be the best case scenario without trading up, without trading down. If it falls into place, like my God, having Deontay Banks fall to 17, Anton Harrison there in the second round, Jack Campbell there, Ika there. So
that's a great draft. I mean, if you could pull that,
it ticks off a lot of needs too. So if that would happen, Omar Khan, I would build a shrine to you. But is this going to happen? No, but hey, if that would happen, that would be amazing.
Mike, it is the 2-minute warning. Why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
2Yinzers.com, the number 2 DUMYINZRS.com. Head on over there. We have links to YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, every place you can listen to us and watch us. And we have links to Facebook, Instas, email addresses, and link to the merchandise store, where you could buy the Bob Nothing stuff. But the minute I make the Bob Nothing stuff, the minute the Pirates win, and the minute he hands out the richest contract in baseball and Pirate history. So
this team has been terrible for decades.
The
second might create something.
Welcome. See, this is why I am the ultimate Pirate fan. I create something negative and they win.
Yeah. Check it out, everybody. www.2Yinzers.com. As Mike said, there's a lot of cool things over there. Go over there and check it out. We are on all week long, Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. You guys want to do trivia? Finish us up?
Yeah.
And this is another draft trivia. I think we're going to keep things draft heavy this week. Rightfully so. Derpy, you confident? How you feeling confident about a draft trivia, a draft question?
Yes. If it's anything prior to 2000, yes.
Anything prior to 2000?
No, before, you know what I mean? The other way around.
Okay. Real quick. P threw up the peace sign. If you are taking off, P, hey, it's great talking to you, brother. Nice hearing from you. Here we go. Question of the day, draft trivia. Which of the following players was not a number 1 overall selection? Which of the following players were not selected number 1 overall? Was it A, Calvin Johnson, B, Jake Long, C, Carson Palmer, D, Mario Williams? Again, which of the following players were not selected number 1 overall? Was it Calvin Johnson? Was it Jake Long? Was it Carson Palmer? Or was it Mario Williams? Go ahead and take a moment. Think about that.
Got it.
All right. We're going to start with Derpy. Derpy, one more time. Which of the following players were not selected number 1 overall? Was it Calvin Johnson, Jake Long, Carson Palmer, Mario Williams? Who do you think, brother?
I'm going to go Megatron.
Megatron. You're going Calvin Williams, was never
Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson.
Who'd I say?
Calvin Williams. I don't know
Calvin
who that
Johnson.
is.
We don't have a oh, we have a Mario. So Calvin Johnson is your pick. I'm going to lock you in on that. And Mike, who would you like?
It's Calvin Johnson. It's Megatron.
Calvin Johnson. All right, there you go. So the final trivia. It's a draft trivia question. Which of the following players were not selected number 1 overall? Calvin Johnson, Jake Long, Carson Palmer, Mario Williams. Both of the guys selected Calvin Johnson. That is 100% correct. Calvin Johnson was not selected number 1 overall. Great job, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Knocking out of the park like you do about 8% of the time. Nonetheless, great job.
F you.
Mike, what you got for us before we go away for 23 hours?
My God, the Buccos continue to steal a phrase from Twitter. I'm going to steal Adam Crowley here. I'm going to paraphrase his stuff. Buccos continuing the goodwill, starting off strong and handing out the big contract to Brian Reynolds. So
I like it.
Buccos, they are striking while the iron is hot.
Yeah. Derpy.
You know what? We have 2 days till the draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this. Have faith in the Pittsburgh Steelers no matter what, because it could be worse. You could be a Browns fan.
You know what? Again, you were 100% right. You know what? Derpy's been on time the past day and a half. Have you noticed that? His timing has gotten a lot better.
I know. I've noticed that.
He's working hard. I could tell.
He's trying to stay in my good graces so I don't kick him out of the room again.
Getting a little too much time in the green room.
Poor guy.
But yes, the Pirates are back in action today. Everybody, 6:35. They have the Dodgers who come into town with a 12-11 record to start a 3-game series. Let's see if the Pirates can keep on track because they do. These next 9 games, we're going to see where they stand. We got the Dodgers, Washington, and the best team in the league, Tampa Bay. So there you have that. Other than that, guys, keep your ears open for draft scoop news, anything of that nature. And we'll be back this time tomorrow.
Yes.
To do it all over again. So, hey, for Mike, Ryan, Derpy, the 2